Hello, it's your friendly neighborhood goat here, and today I want to talk about a subject called DLC, or as people like to call it,
the devil.
So I come from a time where you would purchase a game on a disc or a cartridge or a cassette tape, and that was it. That was the whole game in one package. And you would play it, you would enjoy it or hate it, and that was it. If you wanted more of the game, you would have to wait for a sequel or another edition of the game to come out. So eventually, as technology improved and games became harder to make, took longer, took more money, more resources, more people, it came a time where we would start to see extra content being added on to a game later, and they would start charging for it. So then you'd have this base product that they'd spent years making that cost millions and millions to make. Then when the game's done, they pack everything up and they go off on holiday and then they make the next game. No. As soon as that game's finished, and even before the game actually hits the shelves, they're making more. They're making more of the same game, but they're packaging it into a pack that they can sell later on. So the game's done, it's being produced, it's being sold off to wherever it's going, but production for the game doesn't just stop. And it makes sense to keep going because you have your base product that you're going to sell, you're going to get a bit of money from that, and then later on you get a bit more money from extra content. Is this a bad thing? Sometimes it can be, sometimes it can't. It's the same as with a base product, you know? Do you feel like you're getting good value from the base product? Are you happy with just what you get? Some people are. Some people will buy a game. I've bought games that had a bunch of DLC packs that I wasn't really interested in. I was happy enough with what I had. But then I'm sure there's some people out there that play it and they want more. They want more and more and more. And that's what they get. See, from a business standpoint, it makes sense for them to keep going, to keep building on this foundation that they've made. You have a game like Dark Souls. They release a game, everyone loves it, and then they start working on new areas, on new bosses, new enemies. And most of the time you tend to find that the DLC that they bring out, people love. People often say that the DLC packs are actually the best content in the game. And you think, why is that? Is it because maybe they've learned a lot from making the base game, and they've taken what they've learned and they've improved on it? They've seen what people enjoy, they've seen what people like most about the game, and they've kind of built on that. And in that case, that's a good thing, because people are getting more of what they want. If DLC didn't exist, then these people would have to wait years for another product that they love, which would suck. Not all DLC is good, believe me. It should all be weighted kind of on its own terms. The same way that we review the base game, you have to review the DLC separately. For each game, it's not just all DLC is good, all DLC is bad. It's mixed. It depends on the value, what they're giving you. I once purchased a certain game called Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and that had some pretty major issues with their DLC. I didn't know at the time. I bought the game. It looks good, it's something that I'd like to play. And then later down the line, it turns out that there was a ton of DLC on the disc, just sitting there, fully available. People hacked it. People actually went online with the characters that were on there. And there were a lot of extra characters that they were selling later on. And as it turns out, the DLC was already made, and it was actually shipped with the game. See, that's a case where a DLC product is shit. I think people going on a rampage about how DLC is evil is just bullshit, because it's not. It makes sense in today's day and age that DLC exists. If you want these companies to keep making games, to keep making the products that you like, then, you know, supporting them once in a while isn't a bad thing. For example, I support a company like NetherRealm. I love Mortal Kombat, I love Injustice. I like what they make. And you'll find with Mortal Kombat X, with the extra characters that they released, the combat packs, people were begging and begging for another one. They wanted more. It's funny in that case where DLC is often seen as being evil, but suddenly people want more. and they're begging and begging, and they're hounding Ed Boon's Twitter. All I'm saying is you should look at each DLC separately, just as you would look at each game separately. If it's good value and it's a good product, then it's good. If they're trying to rip you off, that's the same as if a game comes out and they're charging you £50 for a game that lasts 6 hours, then it's probably bad. Make your own decisions, don't just jump on the bandwagon that all DLC is bad, because it's not. It makes sense. Unfortunately for some people, they'll never get over the fact that it does make sense, and it's here to stay, and it's gonna evolve more and more in the future. Just get used to it, just relax, just enjoy the content, enjoy the great games. So I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for supporting me, and I'll see you next time.